Hey, everybody. This is Dan coming to you barely alive from Japan because, we don't have daylight savings time in Japan, and some people in the West do. So now the AMA has moved an hour later for me, but still, it's important. So I am here. And this one is actually extra special because this is the last AMA of this year. This is it, guys. You're going to have to wait until next year for the next AMA. I know it seems like really far away into the future, but that's like next week. So, yeah. With me, I have another other than Joe and Alex. Hi, say hi to everybody, Joe and Alex.
Morning. Fresh out of bed. Looking forward to the AMA.
Hi, everyone. My pleasure to be back here.
And hopefully Alex is not just fresh out of bed, because I think it's like afternoon in Russia right now. Well, actually, it depends on which time zone you're in, but
yeah, it's 5 p.m.
Yeah. So again, hopefully you're not fresh out of bed right now. All right. Well, so our top progress here has been Rosen this week. Again, so this week, what happened was we got such an outpouring of participation for Rosen that we need to kind of up the game, right, Joe? Is that what happened?
Yeah, we hit a temporary limit in terms of watchers. We can compress data across multiple boxes, so we'll be fine. But that will take probably, I'm gonna say, a month to build out, and then we'll be able to expand and scale that as Rosen goes through the process of adding assets. Right, that's gonna probably be the a step that's needed, for that type of scaling. We've been doing test transactions in a live environment for about a week. We're pretty much, I used to say 2 weeks, now I'll say 2 days. Let's see how that pans out, right? But yeah, it's been awesome to see. A lot of community support, a lot of people running local infrastructure, which, to me is like, I don't know, the crypto space has really shifted away from that type of thinking where it's like, hey, let's trade in a data center instead of, trade on your own local hardware. But I'm really proud to see the community come together, support that Rosen initiative. A lot of operators out there. So everybody that's helped and tested and given us feedback, shout out to you. Thank you.
Yeah. The community, the Ergo and Cardano community has been amazing in this. And we need to up our game on the Rosen side, right? We need to build out some more stuff for us to be able to really accommodate the extra watchers that want to come on board. There's actually talk of then going to ETH now and setting up some watchers on Ethereum. Now, this is, of course, not currently not being done just yet, but there's actually conversations about that already into moving into ETH, and I think that's our next target, right? Right, Joe? That's the next thing.
We have ongoing research and development, and I really think that's when Rosen starts to get more interesting, especially for the Cardano community, because in our initial bridge between Ergo and Cardano, obviously Cardano is the larger market, right? But connecting to Ethereum, you open Cardano projects to access to greater liquidity than exists in their native environment. And so I think that's going to be a big step, and obviously Ergo will benefit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. From my end, we've been working with myself and mostly the Zengate team has been working with the Rosen team to get you all these things, and making sure that the community is accommodated and this testing goes well, so that we can finally roll out the full solution. So again, thank you to the community for the support. And we're working towards expanding the operation and getting more people involved. So again, that's awesome. From my end, as I said, the business development work that I've been doing as far as exchanges and other initiatives has kind of come to a holiday break right now, mainly because, unlike myself, other people go on holiday breaks. Some of these things will get picked up in the new year. Again, the exchange listings are my top priority is for the community to get access from the US and from Canada. We'll be working on that as soon as we get some action in the new year. What about you, Alex? What have you been up to?
A lot of things. A new Notes 5 or 18 version was released. In particular, to check the new release script. There are a couple of other small features. So, reviewing code for the next version, working on Subblock CAP. There will be developers chat on January 3rd after developers chat. So it will be kind of free flow chat for a few hours, so many time zones can attend, hopefully. Also reviewed some new features for Oracle pools. Did first chain cache implementation proposal, CCIP. So the idea that chain cache software would implement some CCIPs, like Nostr implementation, for example. They can be described by Nostr implementation proposals, NIPs they are implementing. There is some progress towards getting DEXI off-chain code done. Will be announced hopefully soon. There is progress everywhere. So in chain cache server, chain cache contracts modified a little bit to be better in regards with refund action from reserve. DEXI Gluon also need to start posting probably some updates to developers chat, or ask someone from the team to do that. Chain cache server, so getting persistence, and then we will play with not sending, and then it will be some initial prototype implementation suitable for some hackers at least to start with. It was also quite good developers chat with a new fleet version and so on. So, a lot of things going on. Not like holiday season even.
Yeah. Great, great. Well, let's get to some questions because unfortunately I have to actually leave at 30 past. So let's start getting to some of these questions out here. We got quite a few. Actually, this one I did not hear about. So maybe you heard something about this, Joe. That someone forked Rosen Bridge and made some swaps. What's the outcome of those? And then high quality says that he saw the transactions were successful and rewards worked too. So have you heard anything like that, Joe? Or is that just?
Yeah, it was yesterday. It's actually kind of funny, I thought. It's not so much that they forked the entire framework, it's that they were able to kind of, let's say, see where our back end was and fork our front end that isn't open to the public, and then we're sending test transactions through a forked version of the front end. So we've been testing transactions, and then suddenly new ones started showing up. Now, it's important to recognize that Rosen is actually built that way and will actually come out with standards in terms of wallet integration. So, sometimes if you're using an application, you need to go through a specific front end in order to interact with it. Rosen's going to have specifications that you don't need to go to the Rosen application. Rather, it ideally should be built into wallets, right? That way, if a user wants to bridge to a new environment, they can do so in their wallet, and hopefully we start seeing kind of this growth trajectory towards multi-chain wallets, right? Where, if you want to send your assets from one network to another, you can do that within the same interface. So, I thought it was funny. It's not so much that it was like hacked. It was kind of a workaround in terms of using the bridge itself, which was funny, because then it says, okay, well, they're trusting the network enough to use it before we put it live, right? That's the Ergo community, though. What can you do?
Yeah, that's the gist of it, right? So when you write this kind of modular infrastructure and you do it open source, and you kind of have you don't really have anything behind the curtain, so to speak. Yeah, stuff like this will happen. So essentially, this was a test that the infrastructure passed. This wasn't a hack or anything. This was actually just, like you said, somebody trusting the infrastructure well enough to try and kind of use the infrastructure before we come out with an interface that is, ecosystem mainstream ready, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was funny, to be honest. Because it's one of those things where test transactions are showing up, and they're not tests because the bridge itself is live, right? So it's like, right. Did you do that? No. Did you do that? No. Oh, somebody, turns out they, forked our front end, and, we're playing around with it, which is awesome to see.
Yeah. No, that's good, right? That's nothing to be worried about. That's good. That means that this whole model of open source works, and it works well.
Yeah. Then the question is, do we just say screw it? Do we go live and just let people do it? Because somebody's already playing with it. But I said earlier, I used to say 2 weeks. I'll say 2 days now.
Well, good luck with that. All right. Well, I'll answer a quick question about Palmyra here from John Foreman, and he also has a really good question about Subblock. So the question here is Palmyra looking to add more commodities in 2024? Absolutely. So the next commodity that we're adding is Ceylon cinnamon, which is similar in many ways to the way Ceylon tea is transacted. So we'll be able to onboard them pretty easily, and they utilize the same components and the same traceability and tokenization components that we have been utilizing for tea and Winter Protocol. Other commodities that we're also looking to onboard is Greek olive oil. Again, in the works already. We're already negotiating with some producers, as well as Greek sunflower oil is again essentials. That's what we're looking to onboard mostly in 2024. Also looking into rubber because Sri Lanka is a big rubber producer, and we have a relationship with one of the largest rubber producers in Sri Lanka. So again, that's something that we're planning to add to Palmyra. I don't know if we're going to make it in 2024, although I am pushing for that, and we're pushing to get that on as well. But at the very least, we're going to have at least 2 to 3 more commodities added in 2024. Really looking forward to that. All right. And so the next question here is, when will subblocks be fully implemented on Ergo? Alex, do you have any insight on that?
Hard to say at this point because, still there are some things to finalize in design. And depending on design, so implementation would be lean, so doable, let's say a few months, but could be more tricky. So, that's why it's good to discuss something. So it's about a lot of trade-offs here, right? So, currently, what I'm considering and discussing also with folks in the developers chat. What to commit on chain, what to enforce via layer 2 consensus, and there are different options here, right? And different activation methods then. So, it could be a velvet fork when just some miners may include some data and that's it. And then there could be more restrictive options such as soft fork, for example. With finalized EEP, I can say about estimated development timeline and roadmap. But let's see. So I hope to finalize design in coming weeks. So it's as it's all about trade-offs. There are no easy decisions here, right? So that's why chats are needed in particular, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're gonna have a public development chat on the Ergo development Telegram and the Discord groups on January 3rd, 2 p.m. UTC. Estimating it's going to just kind of be an open, free-flowing conversation for like 3-4 hours. So anybody that's around that wants to learn about the potential design implementations, trade-offs, and submit their feedback, ideas, or just linger and learn, right? That's always great. Please show up.
Yeah. All right. Joe. So QX parentheses is asking Joe, when ErgoCon Colorado? When, Joe?
We had talked about doing something in Colorado Springs, probably, I don't know, in the fall.
Yeah, actually, one of the things that I really want to get going more off in 2024 is in-person events. I would like to see more of the community showing up for the conferences that are happening out there in in Vegas and Colorado and other parts, some in Europe as well. If there's something that we can bring some Ergonauts out to. Also, I don't know if you're still keen on doing this, Alex, but At one point, we were talking about doing maybe an Ergo roadshow and doing events, just like a string of events in several different countries. I don't know if you're still up for that or not, but that was actually a really interesting idea that I was kind of putting a lot of thought to.
Yeah, possible. So the only question is when. So it's hard to plan. Well, roadshow, especially in the middle of development. So let's see. So hopefully in 2024, some roadshow will be possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely be exciting, I think, and it would be really good for the community, even if we can't really get a proper summit going per se. We could at least have a string of events in our, community hotspots where the community would have a chance to come out and spend some time with the team, spend some time with other Ergonauts, and just kind of make it really, really nice. And we did have a couple of really nice events that we put together this year. The one in Istanbul was really nice. The one in Dubai was also it was a nice event in terms of the people that came out and the presentations of projects, and so that was really cool. Really enjoyed all the people that came out and all the projects that came out for NFT XLV in the fall. That was also really exciting. I was really happy to be able to create that Ergo Island and hope to do the same thing next year. So let's just keep doing more of that. So let me do another quick question about Palmyra, and then we'll get another question that I'll jump off, and then you guys can kind of do your thing. So here's Ursa Miner 2010 is asking if only Palmyra could do Cobalt. Actually, that is something that we've discussed. Cobalt is potentially something that we'd like to deal with. The problem with Cobalt is that it is, it's not an easy commodity to deal with if you're actually dealing with producers, right? Because there's the mining aspect of it. There is the toxic, the toxicity aspect of it. There's also the jurisdictions that Cobalt is mined that are not the friendliest sometimes. So that is definitely something that I think would be really interesting to get into, but it will take finesse. But yeah, like I said, something that we did look into and we have been discussing. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Hey, Joe, can we fork the Rosen front end and change the theme? Asking for a friend.
Oh, I'm actually a really big fan of having some kind of open standard for reskinning, right? I kind of like that idea across applications where, you have like some CSS and custom images where people can. I'll just use the example. I was talking to Mick at one of the conferences. He's building Blitz, the trading card game, and he uses the DApp connector, right? And so all of his application, and it has its own theme. It has its own like custom work, and it it will take some work to kind of build that, but it would be really cool to see, while it's supporting infrastructure, support reskinning. That way, if somebody is really into one application, or let's say in that case, Blitz could then offer their own skin to where everything kind of matches. And I guess it's an aesthetic thing, but a lot of the times when you're talking about art-based games, aesthetics matter, right? That's part of why we went out and hired good artists and, put a lot of work into the beauty of the thing. And so I think that not just for Rosen, I think, most decentralized applications should at least consider some form of supporting reskinning that's, really simple and secure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's actually a really cool thing to have, almost like a white label solution that you can then easily tweak, and like you said, without sacrificing security or stability. Yeah, that's actually a very interesting thing to be able to include. All right. Let's see. I saw another really nice question here. All right. So, okay. So what is, all right, let's see. Well, what is the purpose of, I'm sorry, what is the future of ErgoScript? Will Ergo support other custom languages? Okay, well, I mean, guys, well, what is the future of ErgoScript? I mean, we're still building things out, and I mean, ErgoScript itself, I think, is a really nice and powerful language. I think it's really well written. I think that it is. I like it a lot because of the Scala framework, but I don't see why there wouldn't be any other languages built on Ergo going forward if there is a need for them. And again, this is something that the community can get involved in. Like, for example, on Cardano, it was basically built by the community. Other languages as well that are, Plutarch and all these other things that came out aside from, Plutus smart contract scripting, were built by the community. So again, is there, yes, there's definitely a possibility. I don't know if there's something in a pipeline on the core team or the foundation side to build something out. I mean, is there something that you can add, Joe or Alex?
So ErgoScript is a high-level language, right, which is compiled into Ergo tree, kind of assembler. But Ergo tree is actually just a syntax tree, typed abstract syntax tree to be written on the blockchain. So it's actually, in my opinion, more compact form, right? And we need to store bytes on the blockchain. That's why syntax tree was chosen. Also there are other advantages. So it's more friendly to tools of code analysis than, for example, stack-based virtual machine like Bitcoin script or EVM. And so on. ErgoScript is a nice option, right? It's simple. No need to know Scala to program in ErgoScript. So it's just somewhat simple language with C-like syntax. But there are other options. So I'm thinking sometimes about something like Lisp, because, for expressing syntax tree, this is the simplest choice, right? And there are some Lisp enthusiasts which can join the community. Maybe. So, to the best of my knowledge, only Chia blockchain is using Lisp-like language called Chia Lisp. But yeah, I'm not sure Chia has a good ecosystem. Maybe it can be left to the foundation, maybe with some grants or bounties. Something like that. But other options are also possible, like a Python-like language, maybe. And what else? But yeah, Lisp is very natural and super simple in regards with implementation, the language implementation choice.
Yeah. So there you have it. All right, guys. Well, listen, unfortunately, I have to get going, but Alex and Joe will stay with you till the bitter end. I would like to wish everybody a happy new year, a happy holiday season. I'm really excited about 2024, about what Ergo is gonna accomplish. I mean, I just can't wait. We will have Ergo polls starting back up next year. That is a promise. We're going to bring you some really cool episodes because there's a lot of cool stuff being built on Ergo right now that we haven't covered. So again, that's also something to look forward to. I know we took a hiatus for a little bit, but that is coming back. So again, thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you all in the new year. Have a good one.
All right.
All right. Do you see questions, buddy?
Yeah, I'll get some. What are the most important things that happen to the Ergo ecosystem for you in 2023, Alex?
Let me think. Rosen, definitely, right? So we can count first transactions, right? As Rosen being launched, actually. Then what else?
PeoplePal support's pretty big, right?
Sorry?
PeoplePal support's pretty big.
Yeah. Sigma-Phi, right? So I guess it's appeared in 23 or 22.
I lose track, to be honest. Like a year in the crypto sphere is like a decade. I'm not sure what's this past year anymore.
Right. So yeah, I believe it's 23. Yeah, Sigma-Phi and duck pools. Right. So a lot of fun with Sigma-Phi. Then to me personally, auction coin, right, as the first example of emission contract, which is not emission is not going to miners, but still, emission is limited, and it has quite interesting mechanics, right? And it's just the first experiment after all, it's going quite well, I think. Considering that no any promotion was done, basically. What else? Oracle Pool 2.0. So it was pretty interesting launch, right? And with Gort tokenomics, it's looking interesting also. So also very interesting experiment in emission, and now tied with somewhat real, right? Real blockchain economy, such as oracles.
Yeah, I would say, when we entered 2023, one of the biggest bottlenecks in the ecosystem was probably the Explorer. I think that has improved anyway. I think there's still work to do. But, indexing the node is pretty awesome in terms of removing that, external infrastructure. Still more to be done. Still more work happening. So I'm excited for that.
So I think in general, everything is much more stable, right?
Yeah.
Now than 1 year ago, definitely. So yeah, a lot of work behind.
Let's see. Let's see. Any thoughts on storing the wallet seed phrase used for Rosen in a standard config file? Could this be exploited via code updates? I would say you always want to be careful where you get your updates from. I don't think that's just, let's say, localized to Rosen. You always want to make sure that you update from the proper source, because every once in a while, you will have run into something that, has something buried in it. So be careful out there, always. Let's see. I'm looking to help contribute any courses on Ergo out there. Yeah, well, there's a YouTube channel, Decentralized Collaboration. I know that Cheese and Keith and a few others that escape me right now anyway. Sorry if I forgot you. Put out a YouTube channel where they cover the layman side of Ergo and then get into ErgoScript basics. That's definitely something that is a great starting point, right? Especially due to kind of you having both the advanced ErgoScript aspect available, and you have kind of the layman's or entry ramp. So if you're out there and you want to learn more about kind of ErgoScript, I would say that's one of the best community resources we have.
Yeah, and often there is need for contributors into off-chain parts, right? Where only conventional, let's say, knowledge is needed, like JavaScript, Rust, something like that.
Yeah.
Please join developers chat group, the Telegram, Discord, and please feel free to ask your questions. And, for contributors, I believe there is a list of resources on Sigmanauts page. So you can check that as well.
All right. Next question is from Ursa Minor. What happens to the auction coin game after the emissions are finished?
It will be just token, like some tokens on Ergo, right, with no utility, I don't know, Comet maybe, right? What else? What's going on? This is actually not surprising for this kind of auction. So, the supply is expanding, right? So then all the auction coins will be minted after all, but the pace is super slow. So currently, after a few months, just like 2% or something like that minted. Right, so then total emission would happen for 10 years, 15 years. So it will be long experiment after all. So currently less than 2,000 new auction coins emitted out of 90. Right. Then the total supply will be emitted in 10 years or so. So Yeah, well, it's then wouldn't be happen soon.
All right. Let's see. It's a question for you in here, Alex. I gotta find it though. All right, Alex, what are you looking forward to in 2024?
2024. So, in the first place, Paideia launch. Right. So, well, I'm still waiting to launch some DAOs.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, about 2023 results. So, to me personally, well, Xle was very good with the loans provided to the Kenyan cooperative. And well, with Paideia, I'm thinking to expand providing loans. Maybe yeah, today or tomorrow, even I will create a raffle for well, raising more funds for providing interest-free loans. Right, and well, to participants of contributors of this and previous one also raffles. Well, some tokens will be sent of the new DAO, and then well, with this DAO we can what collectively what to do with repayments, right? Because well, loans are interest free, but money are coming back then, right, without interest. And still there is a need to decide after some time what to do with them. Maybe provide more loans to this cooperative, or to look for more partners and so on. So Paideia with DAOs, I think it would be another brick right into financial systems, especially grassroots financial systems. Then, yeah, chain cash server, right? With it, we can start experiments with yeah, doing things like local exchange trading systems, right? Because well, it's allowed basically by the current server and the system design. Then yeah, 6.0, right? So the work is already going on. There are a couple of PRs, pull requests done, and well, the scope is more or less finalized, and I think well, closer to 2025 activation, voting can be started. Then subblocks, sidechains, maybe subblock based sidechains. So there will be a video on sidechains hackathon project released on Ergo Summit at Ergo Summit. And then yeah, there will be probably community or developers chats, right, on what to do with that, with some roadmaps, maybe well, call for contributors and so on. Then yeah, Gleon and Dexia launches. And then what else? So bridge to Ethereum would be very big, I guess, right, for the ecosystem.
Yeah, I would say that bridging into Ethereum, Bitcoin, and having the potential for the first multi-chain wallets showing up, is something that I'm gonna push for in 2024. In terms of 2023, I think one of the things that we forgot to cover that I think was a pretty huge tool in the ecosystem was Fleet SDK.
Oh yeah, true.
No, that's been picked up and used by quite a few developers across the ecosystem. So
Yeah. So like hodl coin, right?
yeah.
Um, and so bridge to Ethereum. So recently I checked Alephium statistics, and it seems Uniswap is the biggest exchange ahead of Gate.io and so on. So then for Ergo, probably it also would be very big. And Uniswap is the biggest exchange, or it was maybe during DeFi peak, right? So it was ahead of Binance, I believe, for some time. Not sure about current moment.
I haven't been watching volumes like that, but certainly when you move into an exchange, you have kind of a siloed user base, but when you're on chain, you have kind of open access to anybody that's participating. So seeing that as that type of volume on chain is a lot more real than what sometimes happens in the back end of exchanges, where there's a lot of let's call them bloated numbers, right? Where
Yeah. So your Uniswap numbers are real, right? And
yeah, because there's a cost of transaction, right? And if you are trading inside of one wallet, it's not unheard of for exchanges to be like, hey, we're going to offer a temporary zero maker taker fee for the market maker so they can just trade with themselves at no cost, right? Versus when you have a decentralized exchange on chain, there's a cost of transaction, so you can assume that people aren't just going to eat that cost and trade back and forth with themselves. Now, in theory, they could, but at least there's a cost.
Right. And it's actually a pretty high cost for market makers.
Yeah.
Like 0.3%. So for market makers, it's huge. So yeah, I mean, wash trading is still possible, and I guess it happens, right, to some degree, even on Uniswap. But it's costly, and it's definitely couldn't be compared with wash trading on centralized exchanges.
All right. Question for you, Alex. Can you speak on your proposed development plan for the coming months for some core repositories? That's from Wombo 22.
Oh, so it was published like 1 week ago in developers chat. So there is some plan on developments for repositories I'm aware of, and it's made in order to attract attention, right, of contributors, and then to also attach bounties to issues.
Yeah, I saw that. We need to definitely get that circulating more. So those of you there, I know that there was a couple posts, Telegram, Discord, Twitter. That's something that, if you want to support core ecosystem development and it's not necessarily in your skill set, certainly passing that around and sharing that, could help. Putting those incentives on top of kind of development plans, proposals is a great way to kind of build the core open source community around layer one.
Right. And so there is a roadmap. You can check it. So it's for core repositories for coming months, and it's quite good to me.
All right. Next question is, at what point does development of layer one on Ergo pretty much seem complete, if ever? And what do you want to do from there, Alex?
Oh, so actually, I did a video on completeness of Ergo design, right? For some Ergo summits. I forgotten which one. Even 1 year ago, maybe. The design is pretty much sound, right? There is ongoing work needed all the time, right? So some optimizations which are not breaking the protocol and can at the same time bring nice improvements in network efficiency. So, for example, Subblock, so it's not about faster confirmations even in the first place, but better propagation, right? And better utilization of network resources and higher TPS after all. There are a lot of optimizations to get done, and the question, what I will do after what? After an endless work? I don't know. Probably pretty much the same.
At least get a longer Ethernet cord and be by a pool or something, you know?
Yeah, so it's maybe more clear in Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin protocol stabilized many years ago, right, with additions done in a very tricky way, like Taproot and so on, Segwit before. But still, there is always a lot of work, right, to get done for Bitcoin code developers. So, it's always endless.
Wow. All right. That pretty much looks like most of the questions for today. We're gonna have a Rosen Bridge Twitter space in I think 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
So if anybody that's around wants to tune in and ask more questions about 2 days and what all that means, please hop in, show up. It's been a pleasure taking your questions today. I could use some coffee, to be honest. So I'm gonna go make some food, get some coffee, and start my day. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, and again, there will be developers chat on Subblocks and Subblock-based sidechains on January 3rd. Then I think we will have more community chats after that in developers and also general groups. So stay tuned and Happy New Year.
Yep. Happy New Year, everybody.